So let's discuss about the concept of what we are going to check out today. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the basic Linux concepts. The basic Linux concepts. And before we go into that, so those who doesn't have the AWS account, the first things what I want to tell you here is AWS has changed its terms and conditions for the free tier accounts. AWS terms and conditions for free tier account is completely changed. What is that the terms and conditions in the sense? So the first and foremost thing is that previously we used to have 1 year of free tier subscription. 1 year of free tier subscription is there. Okay, now it is reduced to 6 months. 6 months. Okay, that too. They are providing a few resources in the free tier. Only a few resources that are being provided in that particular free tier. Now the next one is when you want to create an AWS free tier account, then what you need to have here is you need to have a new debit or credit card. Whatever the old credit cards are there, those are not acceptable. So this is enforcing from July 15, 2025. Okay, these rules are enforced from July 15, 2025. The second one is you need to have a new debit or credit card, which means not new for you. It should be new for AWS. So you should not use these debit or credit cards at any point of time to create an AWS free tier account. So it should be the first time that you are using these credit or debit cards to create the AWS account. Then only that credit or debit cards will be accepted. Okay. If these debit card and credit card are already used to create the AWS account, to create an AWS account, then it is not valid. It is not valid to create an AWS account. Valid to valid to create the AWS account. Okay, if you create with those debit and credit cards which are already used to create the AWS account, if you create the free tier account, then you are going to get an error. What is that? Already the card is used, so cannot provide the free tier access. So if you see here, new customers can get up to $200 in credits. That's why. So what is this $200 that you are going to get? The first and foremost thing here is whenever you are having a new credit card or debit card, then only the AWS account, free tier account will be created, and you will get $100. So if you are using the new credit or debit card, if you are using a new debit or credit card, and as well as there should be a new email ID. New email ID is required, not the old one. Already used email IDs cannot be given to create the AWS account. Already once I have created an AWS account with one of my email ID. The same email ID cannot be given to create another AWS account. It is not acceptable. Okay, new email ID, not the old one. Okay. So if you are using a new debit or credit card, then $100 will be credited into or credited into the AWS free account. Okay. $100 will be credited. Even they are saying $200, you will get only $100. See that new AWS customers can start with at no cost with the AWS free tier account, gain 100 USD credit at sign up and up to 100 USD more to earn as you explore the AWS key AWS services. When we are exploring the key AWS services, then we are going to get an additional $100. So basically, you are going to get think like only $100 in your free tier account. But how many number of features that we are getting explored? Depending on that, $100, another $100 will be credited into the AWS account. That is the first thing. And you can have old mobile number. So if the mobile number is the same, then that is not a problem. Old mobile number is not a problem. And you need to provide PAN details. PAN details, driving license, Aadhaar card, any details you have to provide. So these are the prerequisites to create a free tier account. So if you don't have a credit or debit card which you already used, if you have a credit or debit card which already you have used for creating the AWS account, then that credit and debit cards are not sufficient. Email address is not, old email address is not useful. You have to create a new email address. These are all the criteria which will be considered whenever you are creating a free tier AWS account. So please keep in mind about this. So yeah, so we will try to create an AWS free tier account. Okay, so if not, at least I will try to record this session. Okay, so or else let me try to create an AWS free tier account, but that is not a very good way of creating. Okay. So let me create an AWS free tier account, amazon.com, aws.amazon.com/free. When you give this URL, it will ask you to create a free account. Okay. When you are trying to create a free account, the console will be looking like this. I already have an account, so let me log out of this. Create a free tier account. Okay. And root user email address is Polaris techwords@gmail.com. Polaris techwords@gmail.com. This is the email address. Account name is Polaris techwords. Verify the email address. Now when I go to my Gmail, let me copy this code, write it over here, and verify. Verify. So root password, we have to set a new password. So okay, continue. Okay, here they are asking choose the plan. Either you have to select the free plan or paid plan. So the best way is go for the paid plan. So in paid plan also you will get $200 of credit. Okay, so it is not like you will get only $100 of credit only for the free plan. You will get $100 for the paid plan also. Later, once the $100 are consumed, then they will be charging for the resources. So I will choose the paid plan only. So this is the best method. Why? Because some of the some of the services are not available. Access to all AWS services and features are not available. And after 6 months free period or when all credits are used, you can choose to upgrade the plan to paid. Otherwise, your account closes automatically. So if you don't choose it, automatically your account will be closed. Choose a paid plan. I will choose it. It is for my personal and full name is, I will go with Polaris only. Polaris TechWorks. Okay. Here you have to provide the mobile number. You can give the used mobile number also. Sometimes it will be created. Let me check out this. The country is India. Okay, and the address line. So the address is somewhere like I'll go with SR Nagar, city is Hyderabad, state is Telangana, postal code is 5,38. Okay, agree and continue. No thanks. So here it will be asking me the debit or credit card number. For a while, I will stop sharing here. For some time, I will stop sharing here. Okay. Once I provide my debit and credit card, I will get back to you. Just hold on. Before I provide this, do you have any questions, anything to ask? Somebody is typing something. So this is the third demo session which I am providing. Today is not the first demo. Today is the third demo session. This is the last demo session. Okay. Check this. Okay. Let me recheck this, verify and continue. Just give me a second. 2 rupees will be debited from my credit card or debit card. Whenever you are creating from your credit or debit card also, 2 rupees will be debited. Okay.
Chaitanya, if you are sharing your screen is not visible for us.
I am not sharing my screen. I am giving my credit card details. So I am not
Okay.
sharing it.
Okay.
Okay. So here I did my payment. So once the payment is done, the payment method cannot be verified. Check your information and try again. I don't have any other cards right now. So we got stuck over here. Okay. So let me recheck this once with any another debit and credit cards. Then you have to provide after this console, you will get another what I can say, and another console asking for the credit and debit card information. You have to provide that, and later what you have to do for us, I mean they will be asking the PAN card number. So once you provide the PAN card, then it will be going for the next option. So I cannot provide already. I have provided all my debit and credit card details. Let me recheck this once. If it is possible, I'll try it from another card if there is any possibility. I'm trying to create it from my another card. Let me check whether this time at least it will create or not. Otherwise, so we'll see that. Give me some time. Good. Now it is accepting that. So I don't know what is going to happen in which ways. So if you see here, confirm your identity. It is asking for the identity. I will go with, this one is for my uh, purpose, academic purpose. Ownership type is individual and PAN card number, date of birth. Give me a second. It is asking for the PAN card. You need to upload the PAN card details also. Photos also you need to upload it. Previously, we don't have all these headaches, but now it has become mandatory. So yeah, okay, good. Let me recheck this. So I have given this configuration. So they are asking next step is once you provided your contact details, then they will ask you to confirm your mobile number. So I will go with India. Okay, send SMS. So security verification 7TERCT. Submit. I will get a verification code to my mobile number. In the same manner, you are also going to get the mobile number. Okay. So you are going to get a verification code for your mobile number. 9713. There is any luck, the account will be created. Otherwise, yeah. So this is how you are going to get. I said, so the information provided is linked to an existing or previous AWS account. Your AWS account is not eligible for $200 credit. Okay, choose confirm to continue with the account creation. So this is what you are going to get if you are not providing a proper debit or credit card. If you are not providing the new credit card or debit card details, so this is what you are going to get in the end. Okay, so I just want to show you the problem here. Okay, so this is what. So if you confirm it, the account will be created. Okay, so I'll confirm it, but that's okay. Later I can delete the account. And then basic support. I want the basic support. I don't want the developer or business support. If you select this, no. So whether you use or don't use the account, so it will cost you $29. So I'll go with basic support only. Complete the sign up. Okay. So for basic supports, they will charge $0. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay. So that is how we have created our AWS account, which is not a free tier account. It is not a free tier account. So in general, what is going to happen here means if it is a free tier account, there you go. So I got my Polaris TechWorks. So let me go to the billing. When I go to the billing, complete the AWS registration. What is that? It's totally completed. Sign in. When I go to billing and cost management, here, if the account is created successfully, the free tier account is created successfully, then in the credits you can see that. Then in the credits you can see that $100 of credit has been created. Okay, credited. So that will be there. But here you can see there is no such dollars are credited for me. Why? Because it is not accepting. You got this error, no? It is not an error. It is what saying that you are not eligible. So I am not eligible. Why? Because I already given the already used card. So you cannot create your free tier account over here. So this account is not a mandatory account for me. So I can delete it later. But any which ways, the point is, so you need to use the first conditions are very important. What are the first conditions? You need to use a new debit or credit card, which the card which is never used, you have to use it. The second one is new email ID, not the old one. Okay, and the third one, I think you can go with the new mobile number also. If there is any mobile number which is unused, you can use that mobile number. And then you have to provide the PAN card details. So this is also required. So these are all the things that you need to keep in mind whenever you want to create a AWS free tier account. Okay, right. So I hope you understand how you can create the AWS account. Any questions here? Hmm. Any questions? Do you understand how you can create an AWS account? Please say yes or no. Yes, sir. Close the account. Close this account. Don't want it. I just created just for your sake, so that you will understand how we can create the AWS account. Okay. Good. So I already have an AWS account. I will log into that particular account. Okay. So what was that? So when you log into your AWS account, you are going to this is my old AWS account which I have right now. When you log in into your AWS account, the home page will be looking like this. Okay, in this home page, you will have your home button, and this is the grid icon. The grid icon, you will have all the services that are given by the AWS. AWS is providing somewhere near to 270 plus services. Among those, you can see analytics are there, application integration, blockchain, business application, cloud financials, compute, containers. So these are all the things that are available. Among those services, we are going to learn a few services which are relatable to your IT industry. So then you can search the services from the search box. So if you want to use VPC service, you can search from the search box. If you want to use EC2 service, you can search from the search box. SNS. For example, I want to go through SNS, simple notification service. You can search from the search box like that. Whatever the service that you want to get into, you can simply search in the search box. And the next one, this is the Cloud Shell. Once we go into the EC2 instances, we will discuss about the Cloud Shell. And then if you got any notification, that will be displayed over here. And this is my, if you are having any, if you are having any query, you want the support center, then you can get the details feedback, or else if you want to know what is the main problem with your AWS account, AWS related any questions can be asked with the support center. And the next one is settings, how it should be, how the theme should be. If you change it to dark, it will be dark. If you change it to light, it will be light. So how browser default should be looking like. Okay, so that is what. And here you can see these are the regions. So what is meant by region, we will discuss any which ways in the upcoming time. And this is my account ID and my account details. So if I go into this, it is going to display the billing. And this is my account name. So under account name also, you will say the same thing. So this is the concept of your AWS console, how AWS console is looking like, and how we are going to get into this. Okay. So now this is the basic AWS console. Once you create your AWS account, you will be going into the AWS console. In the AWS console, you will be looking all this home page. But you should be very careful whenever you are creating. How many people of you are having the AWS accounts with you? Do you have any free tier AWS accounts, or else do you need to create the AWS accounts? No answer. Okay. Why don't you guys open up your mouth? Can you please talk? Deepak, okay, I will call. Deepak, Is Deepak Kumar is there? Okay. Abhishek,
Hi Chaitanya. Chaitanya, actually I had created few years back, but not remember that account, so I need to create new one.
few years will not be suitable. You need to create a new one. But when you are creating, you need to be very careful. I showed you know what is going to happen. So if
Mhm.
you need to get the free tier account, you need to be very careful when creating it.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Jatin. Well, so I think I don't know. Maybe I pronounce it the spelling wrong. Uh, Jatin Mohanty, if I am not wrong.
Yeah, I need to create.
Yeah. Hi. Your voice is very low, Jatin. Okay. Nandan.
Is it audible? Is it
Yeah,
audible?
it is. It is now audible. Yeah. Do you have any AWS account with you?
No, I have to create.
Okay. Created. I gave you in the video. Please go through the video and check it out. Nandan. Nandan Mari. Is Nandan is there? No problem. Priya, do you have an AWS previously created AWS account or do you need to create it?
Hi. No, I don't have AWS account created, but I do have Azure account.
No, not about Azure. We are discussing about AWS now. So you need to have the AWS account. So
Yeah,
please try to create one AWS account if you don't have. Okay.
yeah.
Shashank, thank you.
I don't have AWS account.
And create. So major number of people doesn't have any AWS accounts. Please try to create those accounts by looking the video. But whenever you are creating, please keep in the mind that the email ID should be a new one. At least you can provide your. I mean, majority number of the people doesn't have any AWS account, so it will be easily created. So please try to create your own AWS account. Why? Because from tomorrow onwards, we will be working with the AWS servers. Okay, we will be working on the AWS servers only. So now let's understand. Let us go with the Linux concepts. Linux. I'm not going very in deep into the Linux here. Any which ways, we are having a concept called as the shell scripting. In the shell scripting, we will discuss about a major number of commands. But here, before I go into the AWS, I want to make sure you understand the Linux concepts, basics, so that when we are using in AWS, you will not get any problematic. You will not get into any problematic situations. So that is the reason why I am going with the Linux operating system. Before I go into the Linux operating system, how many of you are having the hands-on experience into the Linux? In day-to-day environment, how many of you are having the hands-on experience into Linux? If you don't able to, if you are unable to talk, please type in the chat box. At least I can check out that. Okay. Okay, I got only one answer.
Sir, I don't have a Linux experience, sir.
Okay. Fine. So now let us discuss about this Linux. That's okay. If you don't have any idea about also, no problem. See, Linux, let us start from the basics. So I hope you are, at least you know about a computer. I think you know about a computer. What is a computer? Computer is a device in which we will run the applications, within which we will run the applications like, for example, Chrome application. At least you will open the Google Chrome or Edge browser, or else if you want to watch the movies, there is media players, VLC, or else any media player. So computer is an application, or else computer is a device in which these applications are running. So how applications are running? So if you see here, you are having the, when you purchase a computer, when you purchase a laptop or else a computer, so you will have a hardware. You will check everything. So at least you will ask your friends. So which computer or else what is the best options or else what is the best hardware that you can suggest for me so that I will purchase a computer. You will ask your friends. Now your friends will say that, okay, right now Intel i7 processor is good. So you can go with the i7 processor or else i5 processor. Right now it is 14th generation i7 or i5 processors are available. You can go with that. And your computer should have 16 GB of RAM. So like that, they are going to give you the suggestions. So search with this configuration and somewhere like some 500 GB to 1 TB of SSD. 1 TB of SSD is required. So they will say that. Depending on their words, what you will do, you will search in the internet, either in the Flipkart, Amazon, or else whether you can go to a shop, nearest shop, offline. If you want to purchase offline, you will go to the nearest shop. When you go to the nearest shop, or else in the online, if you purchase the computer or laptop, so the delivery guy will bring that device to you. So now, if you see inside a computer, basically by default, you will get some operating system for some computers. Like Windows operating system will be there. By default, you will select the Windows OS. Windows OS will be there. Okay. For some computers, there will be Linux operating system is also available. So now what is this operating system? Here comes the first question. What is OS? In which ways we will discuss about that. And on top of this operating system, what you are going to do, you are going to install whatever the applications that you want. What is the purpose of that particular computer? Why you purchase the computer? So if you are a student, you want to practice the lectures, whatever the lectures that has given in this session, or else in your colleges, in your training. So you are going to practice those sessions. So for that, you need to install Visual Studio Code. Okay. Or else you need to install some of the, for playing that videos, you need to have some media players. Okay. And then for checking out if you are having any doubts, or else if you are using AWS account. So to access that AWS resources, you need to have the Chrome browser, any browser. Okay. These are all the applications that you are going to install on top of this operating system. Without operating system, you cannot run any application. This is the first thing. So operating system is very, very important for you. So now by combining all these things, you will call it as a computer, a device which can run the applications. Either it might be software applications, or else any like coding applications, or else it might be VFX. So depending on the hardware and the operating system, you are going to create that application. Now, what is this operating system? Now you said that we purchase a computer. Inside the computer, we can see there is an operating system. Can anybody tell me what is meant by an OS or else operating system? What is an operating system? Tell me. So nobody knows about operating system.
It's a
So
combination of hardware and software.
it's a combination of hardware and software. Very good. Okay. So now this is your computer. Okay. So in a computer, if there is a user, for example, I am the user who is accessing an application inside a computer. So the user, when he wants to open an application, so if the user wants to open an application, he will first connect to the operating system. Without logging into this operating system, you will not able to open any application. So he wants to open an application called as Visual Studio Code. He wants to open an application called as Visual Studio Code. So simply what I will do, Visual Studio Code. So when I click on this, okay, when I click on this, Visual Studio Code application is open in this format. Now, what is going to happen when I want to open that application, the request will reach to the Windows operating system, to my operating system. So this operating system will communicate the same to the hardware. Why? Because inside the hardware, there is a processor. So in the computer hardware, you are having microprocessor and RAM. So these are the very important components of your computer hardware. So what processor will do, whatever the application that you want, it will process that application and provides the output to you. So to open the application, this operating system should communicate with the hardware. So when the operating system communicates with the hardware, the application will be opened for me. So this everyone knows about this. So now what is an operating system? So who is acting like an interface between the user and the hardware? OS is an interface between user and hardware. Okay, this is fine. Operating system is an interface between the OS and the hardware. It is like just like a translator who will whatever the request that is user has done, so the request will be forwarded to the hardware. Okay, this is good. So now hardware, whatever the hardware that you are having, hardware like your processor, your devices, computer components or computer devices like processor, RAM, or else whatever the devices, other devices like PCI cards, keyboards, mouse, everything. So whatever the devices, peripherals, those are called as peripherals, and inside whatever the devices that are there in your computer, they are called as devices. So like CPU, RAM, PCI slots, PCI cards, graphic cards, these are all the comes under the devices. Now the hardware will not able to understand user language. Okay, so this is the first thing. So hardware can understand binary language. Hardware is able to understand binary language. Binary language in the sense whatever the language that is ones and zeros. So if anything that is there in ones and zeros, that will be understandable by your computer hardware. But user cannot understand what is this ones and zeros language. Ones and zeros language will be understandable by the hardware. User will be able to understand certain languages like English. So now who need to act as an intermediate, or else who need to act as a translator, who needs to act as an interface between these two? So operating system will be acting like an interface. Now this is good. So that is what we call it as an operating system. So in operating system, who has developed this operating system? If you go back to 1969 or else up to 1970, we used to have some low level languages. Those are called as Pascal, COBOL, like that. You are having certain languages. With those languages only we used to manage the computers. But in 1970, there are two scientists called as Kem Thompson and Dennis Ritchie. They developed the first high-level language operating system called as Unix. In 1970, the first operating system, the first full-fledged operating system was introduced into the IT world. So among these two names, do you have any familiar with any name among these two names? Are you familiar with any one of the name? Okay. How many computer science people are there attending to this session? Just type in the chat box. How many computer science people are there attending to this session? Or else how many people know about the C language? In your engineering colleges, you might be gone through the C languages, right? At least give me response, guys.
Sir, I know sir C language, sir.
So this person, I hope you, okay, I hope you know about this name, Dennis Ritchie. Who is this guy? This is the father of your C language. Mute yourself. Father of C language. These two guys combined with each other, they have created a new operating system called as Unix. Okay, in a lab called as Bell Lab. Bell Lab in US, they developed an operating system called as Unix. Once they have developed, and they made this Unix as a premium operating system. Unix is a premium OS, which means you need to purchase it. Okay, purchase the operating system, like your Windows operating system or Mac operating system, how you are purchasing it. So that is what you need to purchase it. I am not saying that Unix is in C language. I say that Dennis Ritchie is the father of C language. Okay, don't assume the assumptions. Any which ways, coming back to the point, Unix is a premium operating system. You have to purchase it. Now, depending on that only, you got some operating systems like AIX, Sun Solaris. So these are all the operating systems that are derived from the Unix itself. But there is a person called as Richard Stallman. So Richard Stallman is there. He's also a scientist. He opposed this premium version of operating system. So I am paying for my computer hardware. I am paying for the internet, or else I am paying for everything. Then why I need to pay for the operating system? I want to have a free version of operating system. Then he started working with the new operating system called as GNU. There is no full form for this. He has put a name called as GNU. So now he developed an operating system. He tried to develop this operating system from 1980, 80 to 85 in between. So when he tried to develop it, he failed. Why? Because in OS, a crucial component is there. What is that? That is called as kernel. Kernel is very, very important component in an operating system. Without the kernel, you cannot work with any application. So now what is this kernel? It will provide the process management. It will say, for example, kernel. Okay, look at that. A kernel is the core component of the computer's operating system, acting as a central bridge between the hardware and software to manage the essential resources like memory, CPU. It provides the fundamental services such as running the programs, accessing the devices, ensuring smooth, stable operations. Kernels are categorized into types. So we don't need to worry about the types of kernels, but kernel is the basic and fundamental component which is required. Why it is required? For example, I am opening. So if you see here in the task manager, in your computer task manager, here you can see we have a Chrome. Chrome is running. How much amount of memory should be allocated to the Chrome? Some 1 GB of memory is allocated. How much amount of CPU I have to allocate? How much amount of CPU and RAM that I have to allocate for the Zoom application? How much amount of CPU and RAM that should be allocated from some manager, Windows manager? So who is going to divide all these things? This decision will be taken care by your kernel. Kernel will select, okay, there is an application. For this application, this much amount of CPU should be assigned. Process management, memory management, network management, disk management, everything will be done by the kernel. Without kernel, the operating system will not be able to work. So now Richard Stallman is failed to develop this kernel. So now what happened? He waited until 1991. So there is a person called as Linus Torvalds. Okay, he created the first Linux kernel. So in general, Linux is a kernel. Okay, Linux is a kernel which is combined with this GNU. So the first Linux operating system is GNU/Linux OS. So with this, they have started the operating system. So it is a freeware. It is a freeware. And let me ask you a question. What is meant by open source? What is meant by open source?
Everyone can contribute.
Everyone can contribute. And what is meant by this freeware? Freeware is
Freeware
freeware. No, tell me.
means there is no cost, and everyone is a open source, and everyone can contribute to enhance the
Is
functionality.
freeware and open source both are the same or both are different? Is freeware
Different.
and open source both are same or both are different?
Different.
Different actually.
Okay. Freeware means it's a free of cost. You don't need to pay for it. Open source means which is the source code is available for the everyone. So if you can simply download it and you can modify the source code and you can create your own operating system. So that's why right now Linux is having some somewhere around 500 to 1000 or 1000 distributions are there. We know only a few: RHEL, Ubuntu, Debian, RHEL under this will comes under the Fedora family. So we are having RHEL, Fedora, CentOS. This will comes under one family. Under Debian family, we will get Ubuntu, Kali Linux, okay, and Debian Linux. So these are all comes under the Debian family. And then we are having Parrot Linux, Mint Linux, Arc Linux, and then we are having a few called as SUSE Linux. It is also one of the premium operating system only. So like that, you are having so many number of operating systems. So one thing you need to understand here is the most important thing: Linux is not Unix. Linux is not Unix. Okay. See, in some movies, they will say, no, we got inspired from this. So like that, Linux is inspired from the Unix, but Linux is not Unix. So whatever the commands, similar commands will be there for Linux and Unix also, will get the similar commands, but Linux is not Unix. Linux is a different flavor of operating system and Unix is a different flavor of operating system. You need to keep that in mind. So now, so the Richard Stallman and Linus Torvald, who is the another founder of your Git. It is also prepared by this Linus Torvald only. Okay. He is the main person who is behind this Linux kernel. He developed the Linux kernel and attached it to the GNU operating system. From then, the Linux has came into the world of IT industry. Right now, Linux is leading. So why it is leading? What are the features of Linux? The first one is free and open source. So this is the best quality of that particular Linux operating system, which is free and which is open source, so that you can develop whatever the operating system that you want. If you know very good knowledge on C language and if you have a very good knowledge on operating system on source code, you can make the modifications of that operating system and create your own operating system. So if you see Linux distros. So these are all the Linux distros that are available. List of Linux distros or else, yeah. So if you can see, these are the multiple distributions that are available. So right now, these are the new distributions that are available. Okay, like that, you will be having so many another Linux language. So if you see here, on 25 August 2025, we have a new distribution available. Okay, Distro Watch Weekly. So these are the some of the new options that are available for us. And here you can see the rankings of the distributions. So whatever are available: Ubuntu, Fedora, Sorian, OpenSUSE, Novara, and Andrium. So like that, you are having so many Linux operating systems are available. So these are all the distributions. Why? How those many number of distributions are came? Because it is a open source. And the next one is for enterprise. We are having certain operating systems like RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and SUSE Linux. So these operating systems are free of cost, but for customer support, they are going to charge for us. So rest of the thing is free. And then when you come down to the next one is security. So when you look after the Linux operating system, these Linux operating system are highly secure. Highly secure. Okay. And then what is the thing in Windows? If you see in Windows, if you get an update, okay, if updates are there, then we need to restart the system. Windows update is there, then we need to restart. But for Linux, you don't need to restart the, I will say we need to restart the server. So when the server is restarted, then there will be a downtime in the application, downtime for the application. So the application will not be accessible by the end customers. So there will be a downtime. But in Linux, if there is an update, we don't need to restart it. Okay. Update is there, then we don't need to restart the server. So the server, if you start a server for at least for 5 years, you don't need to restart it. Can be continuously running until unless if that goes into the hang state, or else if the lot of resources are consumed, if that goes into the shutdown state, then we need to check it out. Apart from this, Linux servers won't go down if there are any updates, anything. So they will be running. So you don't need to worry about the application downtime. So this is also one of the features that is available in the Linux operating system. And one more thing here is CLI. It's a professional operating system. Why? Because only professional users who knows about the commands, they will only run the operating system. So those people who doesn't know about the commands, who doesn't know how to handle the commands, they cannot run this operating system. But Windows, it is very easy. Why? Because it's a GUI, graphical user interface. For Windows, it will be very easy for us. We can easily monitor and manage the operating system. So these are all the criteria. These are all the features that made Linux as number one. So across the world, 90% of the servers, 90% of the companies are using Linux OS for running the applications. Okay, so that's why we have to understand in cloud also, whatever you are seeing in AWS, Azure or GCP, any cloud, if you take, major number of the servers will be the Linux operating system servers itself. So that's why we need to go through the Linux operating system. From tomorrow onwards, we will start the main, what is the concept that we are going to discuss from tomorrow is directory hierarchy, Linux operating system directory hierarchy. And then we will go into some of the basic commands, and then we will go into some of the high level commands. Finally, we'll check the user permissions, and then we will dive into the networking concepts. In networking, we will understand what is meant by networking and how we can configure the networking. These are all the topics that we will cover, and later we will go into the AWS environment. So this is how I am going to schedule the topics. Okay, if you see the syllabus, okay, 1 second. Right. So if you see the syllabus over here, yeah. So this is the syllabus. We have gone through the introduction of DevOps, but any which ways, when we are going into the DevOps, again, I will tell you about that. Software development lifecycle, I will discuss about that. And then we will go into we are starting this Linux administration. First, the module is Linux administration, Linux distributions and the architecture. That is what the directory architecture, file system hierarchy and navigation, basic commands and text processing. Basic commands in the sense ls, cd. These are all the commands that we are going to go through. User and group management, how we can create the user and how we can manage the groups, file permissions and ownership. Okay, and a sticky bit will be there. We will try to I will try to make you understand about all these file permissions. Later we will discuss about the process management, system services and systemd, network configuration and troubleshooting, package management, cron jobs. So all this we are going to cover in this sessions. And then we will discuss shell scripting when we start the DevOps. At that particular point of time, I will try to cover the shell scripting, or else I will cover it right away. So when we have completed the basics, I will try to cover the shell scripting. Any which ways it is possible. And later we will go into the networking fundamentals, OSI and TCP models, IP addressing, DNS and DHCP routing, firewalls, and security groups, load balancing concepts. These load balancing concepts, any which ways we are going to learn in the AWS environment. Okay, so here I am not going to cover it, but in AWS I am going to cover it. Okay, and ping and trace it and netstat. So these I will tell you when we are going through the Linux itself. Okay, SSH and secure connections, VPN and tunneling. We will discuss this in the AWS environment, and then we will directly jump on to the AWS. Okay, in AWS we will be discussing about introduction to cloud computing, overview of AWS services, on-premises and cloud architecture, AWS regions and availability zones, IP addressing and subnetting, and then shared infrastructure. This IP addressing and subnetting we will cover in the Linux itself, so you don't need to worry about that. Shared infrastructure and isolation of AWS we'll discuss, and then VPC peering, what is meant by VPC and how we can create the VPC peering, NAT gateway, monitoring, that is VPC traffic with the help of security groups and network ACLs, VPN connectivity, peering issues, and transit gateway. We'll discuss about that. EC2 instances, load balancing, auto scaling, SSM, systems manager, and then storage solutions. Like we already discussed about the syllabus in the last session only. Okay, Elastic File System, AWS Glacier, FSX, and storage gateway, AWS databases like RDS and NoSQL. And then we'll be discussing about the DynamoDB serverless application. I will try to show you in a practical manner. And then AWS monitoring and automation, identity and access management, AWS certificate manager, container services like ECS, ECR. These are all the things that we are going to discuss. developer tools, automation, and AWS data analytics, where we are going to cover Glue and Athena. And finally, we will discuss about Lambda and Boto 3. So with this, we will complete the AWS. So these are all the modules that we are going to cover in the AWS environment. And then we will go into the DevOps. If you come here, I have given the blueprint only. So it is not complete DevOps. But what we are going to cover here is version control, Git, advanced Git options, Git platforms, GitLab, Bitbucket. I just give you a glimpse about GitLab and Bitbucket, but most of the time we will be working with the GitHub. And then infrastructure as a code, we will discuss about the Terraform functions, Terraform modules, and Terraform enterprise. And then we will discuss about the Ansible and containerization platforms like Docker. And finally, we will be discussing about the orchestration platform and CI/CD pipelining. So these are all the things that we are going to include in the concept of your DevOps. So with this, we will complete the course within 4 months. That is what I'm trying to cover here. Any questions related to this, you can ask me now. Questions?
No, sir.
Yeah, guys. So thanks all. So, this is the last demo for you. We don't need 16 GB of RAM. So if you have only 4 GB of RAM with a good internet connection, that's more than enough. Okay, so I just gave you an example here. I'm not saying that you need to have Intel i7 processor. If you are having i3 processor also, it is okay. You don't need to maintain 16 GB of RAM, 8 GB RAM, 8 GB of RAM is also sufficient. We need to have, what are the prerequisites? You need to install putty or putty. This is the one. And then you need to install one more application. That application is Visual Studio Code, VS Code. Later, when we go into the concept, I will tell you what are the different things that you need to install. Okay. But right now, if you don't need to have a very high-end computer, is not required. If you have a computer minimum 4 GB to 8 GB RAM, that's more than enough. 8 GB RAM. Okay. And at least basic understanding about computers is required. And finally, good internet connection. Good internet connection is required. So if you have all these things, then you are ready to join the course. So this is the last demo. And from tomorrow onwards, we will be working with a premium link. Okay, please contact DURGASOFT for the premium link. They will communicate with you. So we are very sorry that we are unable to reach you on your mobile numbers. You are providing only a single number. So we are not going to call you multiple times. We will ask you only one thing, whether you are interested or not. So tomorrow onwards, we are going to change the link. So those who are interested can join the sessions. So have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session. Bye, guys.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Deepak.
Yeah, sir. I have a window operating system in my system. So we need to install Linux operating system.
No need.
Okay, sir.
No need. If you have Windows, that's more than
Okay, sir.
right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Any questions from any other person? Okay, cool. Have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session, guys.